Hey guys, welcome back to the Hear Me Roar pod. I am Tobi and my co-host is none other than the Kate Save, which you might know her from Shark Tank. She's also founder of BeFit Foods and picked up Telstra's Business of the Year award too. Kate?
Well, Tobi, you've got a super impressive CV, 25 years in global commercialisation experience, and you founded Creative Cubes, Australia's leading co-working space and real estate business.
All right, let's get on with the pod. Kate, we've done a lot of segments, but this one genuinely I'm really excited about.
You are such a fanboy. Look
Such
at
a
you.
fanboy. So Josh King is the current Southeast Melbourne Phoenix head of basketball. He's a basketball coach.
Yes.
He's the head coach there. I got to meet Josh in an unfortunate situation,
Right.
but grateful for that situation. So the Phoenix, which Creative Cubes sponsored this season, or the season that just passed, we took sponsorship on the warm-up jersey. And I was so pumped. As part of our sponsorship, we got 100 seats per game that we gave away to our members. And we had our name most of the time on ESPN when the guys doing warm-ups or being interviewed. Our name was across the chest. It was very cool. Very it was a moment for me that I've built up over the last 44 years that just played out perfectly.
So good.
Unfortunately, when the team started off, we lost our first 5 games in a row.
Right.
And when you're in the pro league and you are 0-5, 0 wins, 5 losses, management needs to make some changes.
Yeah.
So management retrenched the coach, Mike Kelly, who was an amazing basketball player here in the 90s, played for Southeast Melbourne Magic.
Right.
And I don't know where else he played, but I remember Mike Kelly, number 44 in the Southeast Melbourne jersey. And so we had an interim coach, which was the assistant coach, Sam McKinnon, who was also an amazing former Australian boomer, who played for Southeast Melbourne Magic, and as well as Brisbane Bullets and maybe a couple of others, but that's my recollection. So interim coach was Sam McKinnon while the organisation went on a hunt to find the next head coach.
Okay.
So I'm hanging out at Creative Cubes in East Melbourne, which you've been to.
Yes.
And the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix actually have a couple of spaces there. They work from there for their staff that want to work from close to the city. And then that night, the head of operations, their chief operating officer, Anoop, came to me and said, "Hey, we're going upstairs to watch the game. They're playing in New Zealand. Do you want to come hang out?" So I called Sim. "I'm not coming home tonight, babe. I'm going to watch the game with the team." And in walks Josh King. Like, "Hey man, how are you?" And it's like, "Hey, I'm Josh." And then I'm sitting there watching TV, and they cut to Josh King in Europe, running up and down the sidelines, losing his mind. And I'm like looking at this guy going, and there was an announcement that night that Josh King is now the new head coach of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. I just knew him as Josh, and we've been texting ever since. So I'm really excited. He took the team from 0 wins, 5 losses to making the top 4. He'll be humble. He'll say, Sam McKinnon played a big role over a few. And granted, Sam McKinnon did. I think they won 2 or 3 under him. But they finished in the top 4. Didn't make a trade. Didn't bring any new players onto the squad. They went from 0-5 to a top 4. There's a lot of stuff in there that I like to unpack on this episode with your help.
Sounds great.
So after the break, we'll have Josh King on the pod. Guys, you've seen me put out content for years. It all started with James Shadrack from Purpose Productions. We've filmed over 800 vlogs, several hundred different pieces of content that has helped me take my business to the next level. We use Purpose Productions for all the content, pods, vlogs, and storytelling that we produce. Check out purposeproductions.co to learn how James and his amazing team can help you scale your business and get your message out there. Josh, welcome to the pod.
Tobi, good to see you here. Happy to be here.
Mate, I been watching all season, obviously. was not a fan of the Phoenix. In fact, my as growing up, I vowed one day to buy the Sydney Kings. I grew up in Sydney, loved the Kings, and the Phoenix, and sponsoring the Phoenix this year was a real hard decision because it just wasn't in my heart.
Yeah.
And we started off 0-5, and then I met you, and really just got behind you. I wanted to see you succeed, and man, you turned it on. I don't know you're going to pay homage to the team, but the team has to have leadership.
Yeah, sure. I think coaches get sometimes too much credit and too much blame. I think in this situation, I get a lot of credit for how the team went after I came along. Obviously, there was certain things I wanted to implement, and we can talk about some of that. But at the end of the day, in a sport, in a team, business, whatever you want to call it, the people that have to do the bulk of the work are the ones that are going to get you to wherever you want to go. And in this situation, it was the players, the 12, 13 guys that were on the roster. They got to make the baskets. They got to get the stops. So I will always give them 99.8% of the credit.
Okay, in my very limited knowledge of basketball, I have been listening to everything I can, and I've heard that you're a unique coach in that you're not an old style coach that just hammers people. You're empathetic and you have a very different approach to coaching. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm day to day. I'm very much.
Tobi introduced you as losing your shit on the sidelines, but I'd heard very differently.
Yeah, I think a lot of that once the game comes on, it depends. Or once the game starts, I always try to get a feel of what my team needs from me.
Yeah.
And it can vary from day to day, from game to game, from quarter to quarter, from minute to minute. I think sometimes they need to feed off my energy. Sometimes they need me to be a little bit more relaxed. But when the game starts, I'm every play matters. Just like everything always matters. And I coach every play. A lot of times in sport, at the end of the game, people always want to talk about the final decision or the final play, and I'm always a person that's going to talk about the entire situation, because I think every play is important, and that's why I usually coaching the way I am.
That's so interesting that you don't get to the end and just have a screaming match, but done nothing along the way.
Well, actually, I witnessed something.
Yeah, so interesting.
I had the privilege and the fortune of going to Wollongong. We just played a 3-game series, and unfortunately, the team lost. But I went to Wollongong on a Friday night. We came home on the Saturday morning. Sunday, we played game 2. We won game 2, which then forced a game 3 back in Wollongong. And there was a play that happened in Wollongong where the floor wipers were out wiping the floor, and Nathan Sobey, who's the captain, was coming down the court, and the players didn't get out of the way in time. The floor wipers didn't get out of the way in time. I happened to be I sat next to the floor wiper on the baseline, and Sobey got whacked, but no ref called it. And he kept going, "Hey, Josh, call the replay. And Josh was in a moment and unfortunately missed the window to call for a replay. A couple minutes later, timeout happened, and Josh beelined straight for Sobey and said, "My bad. I should have had you on that one, and I didn't. My bad." And Sobey was like, "It's all right." In another world, coach would never lean like that.
And this type of coaching's really only come on my radar recently. I was reading the Jelena Dokic story, and throughout the book, once her dad was no longer coaching her, every coach, or the majority of coaches she had over that in-between period, they actually didn't coach her game. So she'd lose the game, and all she wanted was the feedback on every single point. She wanted feedback, and it's made me appreciate, without that coaching, without that feedback, how do you get better? And she puts her demise down to not having a coach that actually could give her that feedback throughout the game.
Yeah, I think in anything, and I know this is a business setting, not just necessarily the podcast, but Creative Cubes, but it's all relative. And I think each person on your team, I get to coach 12, 13 different guys, and you can't coach them all the same. You got to treat each player differently. Yeah. So like, for example, Nathan Sobey, he's a guy when I got here, I heard a lot of different things about him, but I knew quickly that I needed to have his back in a lot of different situations. In the situation that Toby is talking about, the player was completely right. He wanted me to challenge a particular play, and I missed the window. And I wanted him to know that I had his back and that I messed up. And I think a lot of times as a leader, you gotta, when you mess up, you have to let the people that you're leading know that that's my bad. I mess up too. And I let the players a lot of times know too, especially after a loss. Something doesn't go our way. A lot of times it's, coaches want to blame the players, or people want to blame the players. The coach gets a lot of blame too. But the leader, always makes more mistakes than the players do.
And that's so huge. I mean, it's hard enough to do it in your own domestic relationship at home. Oh, that was me. Left the freezer door open the other day. Oh, maybe me. Who left it? And being able to actually do that in the moment too, not face it the next day via a text message or a cop-out, just actually being there, showing up and...
Well, we're talking about game 3 of the NBL semifinals in a moment, yeah? Like... I left the freezer open is a sort of like husband, wife, or kid sort of confession. He's doing it in front of 10,000 people.
And publicly, and the rest of the team and that judgment.
What I saw, and we haven't spoken about this, Josh, but like what I saw was Sobey was heated. And then when Josh said, my bad, all the air went out of it. All the heat went out of the moment. Yeah. And he's like, okay, cool. And I saw him come off the sideline to his player. And for me, that sort of like... I reflect on the whole season. I opened up this conversation today, or this pod today, saying, Josh, like when Josh took the reins, we was 0-5. I think Sam got us 3 wins, 4.
I think 2. He coached 3 games. He was 2-1.
Yeah, there you go. So he picked up the team with 2 wins out of 7 games. Yeah, and managed to get this team to a top 4 seed with no change in players. I see a difference in attitude. I hear people coming to the game. I'm going to embarrass him, but I hear people coming to the game not to watch the players, but to watch Josh on the sideline because he's such high energy. Yeah. And there's a lot of like wow in that from a side perspective, from a entertainment perspective. I watch every single one of his press conferences. Josh doesn't know this, but I'm really good friends with Brad Rosen. Brad Rosen is a commentator for the NBL on ESPN. Brad and I play basketball together. I caught up with Brad twice while we were in Wollongong. And he just spoke so highly of you. In fact, he referred to another coach and Josh as, what team would you prefer to be on? And I'm not going to out the other coach. I'm not going to out what Brad had to say. But I was like, because I watched both press conferences and Josh is always paying homage to his team at every chance.
So what do you think your experience has been when you've travelled around coaching? So Germany, Czech Republic, Turkey. What does that bring to the game here? What experiences do you have from coaching all around the world that you're bringing here?
Well, I have different perspective. Like each league is different. A little bit different style of play. I think that's more like from a basketball thing.
But you as a person, if you just coached in Australia, not seen anything else, do you think that's changed the way you coach or opened your mind, or how does that?
Yeah, you have to adapt. I think you always have to adapt. I think the game is different over there. Yeah. The players are treated a little bit differently here. There's a different culture in Australia, like an Australian culture for the league.
What does that mean?
I think this league is more relaxed league. It's more of a kind of go with the flow. It's more modeled off after the NBA. Yeah. Whereas Europe is more of a
eat 'em.
Yeah, it's a
like
more
the soccer.
It very much is. It's more of a kill or be killed. Yeah. Not to say I obviously replaced a guy that got let go for not
being a killer.
Not killing enough. Yeah. But Australia is more. They've told me this. It's a mate's culture. It's which I like and I appreciate. So there are some different things that I have to do as a coach to kind of adapt to that culture. And if I always say if you can feel the temperature in the room, like you can kind of adapt pretty quickly. And I try to do that some. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to be myself. there's a famous American football coach, Bill Parcells, and Bill Parcells talked about, in one of the books I read on him, when he first got into coaching, he was trying to be like all these other coaches, all of his mentors. And it took him a couple of years to realize, like, no, you got, when you're a leader or you're a coach and you're trying to get your teams to do what you want them to do, you can't be somebody else. And what I try to always do is be myself, whether that's good or bad.
So makes sense in business, though, as a boss too. I know I've had directors on the board that have told me you need to be more like this, more like that. And I know within a couple of months of doing that, I am drained, like a dead battery.
Same for me.
That cannot function. And I hate myself. The team hate me. You go back to being yourself. Everyone's happy. You're fulfilled. So I sort of get that. But one more question about now being a parent. Has that changed anything in the way that you coach or the way that obviously you as a person, there wouldn't be a person on the planet that doesn't have a kid and changes a little bit. But what do you think that's brought to the game in your coaching?
It gives you a little bit of perspective on what's, I guess you'd say, really what is really important. But I try to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
So in terms of like what I do with my job, I don't think I've really changed much from being a parent. I know, like, once I get in my car and I'm driving home, I'm freaking pumped to see my daughter. Really pumped, and I'm excited. It changes your perspective of, like, when you open the door to me. But in terms of, like, my day to day and, like, what I'm trying to do on the floor and, like, with my team, I don't know. Like, it hasn't changed a lot for me. But there is something about having a child that your whole world does change. But yeah.
Let's flip gears a little bit. How have you enjoyed your time in Australia, in Melbourne? How does it compare to other places you've worked and played? Man,
I'm not just saying this. I love Melbourne.
Yeah. Is it coffee or is it the basketball?
You could say it's both. Well, let's leave the basketball out of it for right now. I've lived in, this is my 5th different country I guess I've lived in, and this location, this spot is amazing. It's just got everything. I call it milk and honey. Everybody, I tell you, this is the land of, like, our season was over. Everybody's like, hey, when you leaving? I'm like, I'm not leaving unless, I got to get my visa stuff straight. But once I get that straight, I'm not leaving. I will go back and visit my family and stuff like that. But I'm not in a rush to get back home. That's
such music to my ears, because I really do enjoy hanging out with you away from basketball and pod and all this and work. I'm glad you're here. Next season, are you already planning, or are you just kind of just defrosting from this season at the moment, thawing out?
Both. Mm-hmm. In this role, like, I don't think you can ever be off, which is okay. Yeah. That's kind of my personality. I get really bored and if I don't have something to do every day, but a little bit of planning, but a little bit of I think you have to de-thaw before you can, like, actually plan. But if you wait too long, there's another there's a Bill Belichick. I'm gonna use American football coaches right now. Yeah. They won, he won 6-7 Super Bowls for the New England Patriots, and very stoic way after they won his 6th title or something like this. They said, well, what does this mean? It means we're 6 weeks behind everybody else because we've been playing for 6 weeks longer. My point is if you wait too long, you'll fall behind. So we have to catch up and try to find a way to make our roster good enough to take the next step with the club, and that's to get to a grand final.
Mm-hmm. So what does a recharge look like for your team, for you? How do they recharge?
It depends, because, again, I think each person's different. I think, a guy like Nathan Tobi, he's going to be 35 years old. He probably needs a little bit more recharge than a guy like Owen Foxwell, who is
he's in New Zealand now?
Yeah, he's going to New Zealand. So, like, the players, because the season is shorter here. That's something that is a topic for another time. But so in Europe and all these other places around the world, their season goes to May, June. So a lot of these guys now will leave and go play somewhere else in our off season. Right.
And Foxwell's doing that in New Zealand.
Foxwell is going to New Zealand. We've had a lot of players on our roster going to Germany, which is really cool. 4 of them will be going to Germany, and some guys going to Puerto Rico. So they recharge by resting their body for about a week, and then they'll go play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how big are you on food, nutrition? I'm a dietitian. Gotta know, what are the secrets? What sorts of advice, or how do you coach people on looking after their health?
I'm not a dietitian, but my wife is really into this stuff. Don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's poison.
Yeah.
Basically, I'd stay away from that first and foremost, and get your rest, lift weights.
Is there a nutritionist on the squad?
Yes, there is. Yeah, we have one. We do. I think she just took a job with the Richmond Tigers, actually.
Okay.
But she was with us, so we'll probably have to find a new one. But yeah,
Kate, don't you advise the Victory?
Yeah, I do. I've done lots of sporting teams.
What would be your advice? Like, what did I? Hold on, I wanted to finish though.
Hold on, you can't talk to my client. I'm the agent here.
And then I wanted to ask if so rest and recover. Sleep is a big one.
Sleep is the number one. So in the past, it would have been very much like exercise, nutrition, sleep. Now it would be sleep, nutrition, exercise. Because if you're not rested, your brain's not working, and your brain is like a muscle. So your muscles aren't going to work well. And if you're not putting your fuel in, then you can't get the best out of your body or your muscles. So I think the big thing is hydration now too first. So actually, the worst thing you could do is go into a game dehydrated. You'll lose an instant sort of 10% of performance. So that would be key. And just the right sorts of fuels. Different for everyone though. So very individual.
I'm loading on creatine this week. I actually am. I got to change. Hope we can do another segment in a couple months. Yeah, we'll see if maybe that'll hold me, be more accountable. I'm getting up earlier to work out now. I'm trying to watch less sweets, no alcohol.
But you don't drink alcohol, so that's it. That's
so here's a hot tip. It's been going all month, but actually, because we film all of our pods in one day, I haven't eaten since Sunday.
You haven't eaten since Sunday?
No.
Wow, that's like a
Wednesday.
72-hour fast you're doing?
Just water.
Yeah, my dad does this, which is this stuff is.
There are some benefits. Level. With an athlete, though, you would only...
Oh, so what are you saying?
Well, in that small break between seasons, maybe, but the rest of the time, as an athlete, there's no way you could do it because you start breaking down muscle. You get rid of all these senescent cells through autophagy and bits and pieces. There's lots of benefits for longevity, but there's no benefits for the game, immediately.
Oh, for sure.
So it's certainly... off season, give it a try, but each to their own. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm in off season at the moment. I keep texting Josh. I had a sore back like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. I texted him. I was like, "Hey Josh, I'll be there tonight, but don't sub me in. I can't play."
Yeah, well, you could be assistant coaching. You know what's going on.
Actually, like in real, and I was going to put this in our third segment. Like I was showing up. I've got a little bit of a relationship with Nathan Sobey, just a very little one. We text each other every now and again, or I send him a stupid meme or something about how LeBron's not the GOAT, and he comes back to me on other things. But I would show up, and my kids would show up every week in support of Josh because I didn't really know the players.
Yeah.
But I got to meet Josh, and I got to spend some time away from basketball with Josh, and we'd show up every week in support of him. And my little Harper, she was number one fan. Her and Maddie would argue each week because I didn't have as many tickets for everyone. So sometimes we'd have to go one or the other. But Harper is like, I'm way more of a hardcore fan than you are, Maddie. I deserve the seat this week. And they get into a battle because they just want to come watch Josh pace the sideline and give us that entertainment value.
Isn't that good though? You don't terrify young girls, which I'm sure some coaches would. So that's nice. There's some energy that you're giving off that's that family vibe, and you're there for the greater good.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like one thing we incorporated this year, which is a European thing, maybe to get back to a question.
Yeah.
We go around now after the game, and the fans are a big part of this. And I think it's really important that they know they're a big part of this. And without them, there really isn't a team.
Yeah.
And then to show your appreciation for them coming out. And at the end of the day, they're spending a lot of money to come watch us play. And I always make sure the players know that too. And,
so good.
No, it's really good. We're building a really nice culture. I know that word gets thrown around a lot in this day and age, the word culture. But the culture is all about. It's not about words or it's about the people that you bring into your environment. So we're building that, and I think the fans are seeing that, and hopefully we can build and make them happy. And
yeah. I've got one of my girlfriends went to watch, and she's not a huge basketball fan, but she had a really good time. So something entertaining that's in the
Well,
sport,
let me put this on the record. If anyone's listening and wants to go to a Phoenix game and they've never been before, they can hit me up in the DMs and I will shout them their first ticket, because it is very addictive going.
I'm just getting my phone.
Yeah. You and your family should go. And by the way, like, you think that, maybe you don't, but like people's perception is, oh, it's a basketball game. It's actually a really entertaining family outing.
Yeah.
Pre-game, there's stuff for the kids to do. During the game, it's really, I don't know, I can't find the word, but like you're on the edge of your seat.
You're not having a hot dog this time.
Well, I'm personally not, but you can if that's your thing. And then post game, to Josh's point, they go around and not shake everyone's hand in the stadium, but give everyone high fives. That's in the first couple of rows. You know, often Nathan Sobey would beeline a couple rows back and say thanks as well to everyone. And so it makes for, and you know, kids can get autographs.
Yeah, wow.
But it really is. I got to be honest, like I definitely show up to show Josh that I'm there to support. But like most of the time, if I'm not watching him on the sideline, I'm watching my kids. I'm very rarely actually watching the game.
So cool,
because my kids are so into it,
aren't they? And they're actually present. There's energy. There's something that they probably don't get out of their day-to-day lives anymore.
It's amazing. I'm not just saying that because I'm a basketball nut, but I'm telling you, I will shout you your first ticket to the game. If you hit me up and you want to take your family, we have 100 seats at Creative Cubes. Every week we ran a raffle here for the whole season, and we were always oversubscribed. And we only ever allowed you were only ever allowed to go once on us. After that, you have to pay for yourself. But every week we had more than 100 people that would want to come to the game because they see the Phoenix marketing material all over our billboards and our meeting rooms. And so, it's unbelievable. And I can't encourage you guys enough to actually just show up next season. Unfortunately, the season's over for us for this one. But bring your kids. It's a really fun afternoon or evening for the whole family.
Awesome. And Josh, just before we finish off, how did you get started? So you played basketball?
Yeah, I played high school and then in college in the States, and then I got right into coaching right at 23. So I've been involved in basketball like my whole life, except for I've got a crazy path, but coached till I was 30, and then I was for 1 year. I was in the corporate America for 1 year, and man, I had a crack at. My college coach gave me an opportunity to get back into coaching, and I wasn't even sure I really wanted to, but I knew if I didn't take that opportunity when I was 30 years old to get back into coaching, that I would probably regret it when I was 60 or 70 years old. So I was like, poof, because I was cool with what I was doing, but got back into coaching at the age of 30, coached 2 more years in college, and then I had a friend in Germany that was coaching. My college roommate went over there and kind of cut my teeth in the international scene for 3 years as an assistant, and then the last 4 years I've been a head coach. I coached in Prague, coached back in Germany for 2 years, coached 2 games in Istanbul, Turkey this year.
Where is your wife from?
She's Tunisian, but she's German, Tunisian German.
Oh, right.
So my daughter was born in Istanbul. She's got a German and a U.S. passport, but she's Tunisian, German American. But she's never been to Germany or the U.S. She's only been to Turkey and Australia. Oh. So she's very, very, very cultured.
Yes.
Amazing.
So cool.
We might wrap it there. After the break, Kate and I'll be back to just digest all the amazing content from this conversation with Josh.
Sounds good.
weareluna.co is a great place for you and your business to start off with phenomenal accounting and legal services. So if you're a startup or a scale-up looking for legal and finance support, or alternatively looking to raise capital, weareluna.co is where you need to be starting off.
Kate,
You've given me a real history lesson in basketball and all the coaches, which is really interesting.
We
but
can
I've
go
got a
deeper
new
if you want. I've got nothing on this afternoon.
Maybe later, but hey, I definitely want to come and watch a game now.
Yeah.
I think bringing the girls along as well.
Yeah.
There's something about, Australian sport and that atmosphere and the crowd, and it sounds really fun.
There's two teams in Melbourne. There's Melbourne United and there's the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. When I first got back to Australia, I went to a couple of United games. I'd spent my Mondays watching the UCLA Bruins play, my Tuesdays watching the Lakers play, my Wednesdays watching the Clippers play, my Thursdays watching USC Trojans play. Then I get another Clippers and or Lakers, and then on the weekends I go watch David Beckham play in South Bay for LA Galaxy.
Wow.
And so, to me, that was like the elite, and I did that for 10 years. So when I came back to Australia, I was a little underwhelmed by the NBL. Yes. I was a little underwhelmed by the product that United put out. And a friend of mine, not recently, but a couple of years ago, got a job at the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. His name is Brad Davidson. And Brad was like, hey, man, come to a game. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll come. I love basketball, so I'll just come.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's chalk and cheese between the United environment and the Phoenix environment. It's chalk and cheese. For me, I couldn't do the United thing. It was just, there were a lot of people there, but they weren't wildly passionate fans. They were fans and they were happy to be there. You go to a Phoenix game, not only is mum and dad there, but so are the kids, and everyone is into it. Everyone loves it. The players show their appreciation back in reverse because, buying a ticket puts food on their table.
Yeah.
And so I was very instantly hooked. And then last season, or the season that's just past us, I got the opportunity to come in as a sponsor. Initially, I did it for Brad. I was like, yeah, I'm proud of Brad of how he's developed as a young professional. Yeah. And I wanted to get around him. And then that was sort of like a gateway into the team. And then the team took up residency at East Melbourne at Creative Cubes. And so I got a little bit more. And then unfortunately the 0 and 5. And then I got to meet Josh. And when I was in America, there was not one American that doesn't love an Australian. And so I said to Josh, and I think I said this to him at the time, I was like, you're now here in my country. I need to pay back for all the great the Americans did for me when I lived over there.
Aren't they?
And so maybe I bother him a little bit. I won't get him to confess that, but I just want to make sure that he's happy and safe and if he needs anything. And so for me, it's become a real lifestyle thing. And I've got my girls in and I got Brad sent us a poster of the team poster. It's almost like a school photo.
So cool.
Everyone's standing in the row and my daughter would tell her grandpa when he comes over for dinner, who the player is, and we need more from him. We're not getting enough from that, and we've got too much from this guy, and this guy's been injured. And Foxwell, well, I've got Foxwell's shoe in Dad's study at home because he gave it to her after a game, and and they're into it. And so for me, it actually really fulfills me as a father. Yeah, it fulfills me as a passionate basketball player, and it fulfills me as a business leader, watching great leadership, watching the humility on the sideline and the humbleness in the press conferences. When I grow up, I want to lead like that as well.
And so cool to have girls in sport too.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. All right, guys, that's been another great ep. We'll see you on the next one.